Welcome back.
Yes, ma, thank you.
Yeah, and we're actually going live. Let's see.
Okay. So will it be the two of us? Oh, that's be
Mm,
streaming from YouTube.
yes, it's all streaming on YouTube, so I want to send out reminders now.
Okay, okay, okay. So just let me know when we're starting, ma. Long set.
Okay. All right. You're welcome. I'm happy to welcome you, Mr. John Fawole, to this is our inaugural session of Valucop Dev Africa. But before we start off officially, let me send out reminders in a bit. All right. Without further ado, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. John. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence to share from your wealth of knowledge and your wealth of information. Um, so this is like our inaugural session. Before now, we've always had only non-tech activities, non-tech sessions, non-tech live sessions, and learning sessions. But now we are kicking off our the tech arm of Valucop Global, which is Valucop Dev Africa. Now, the idea behind Valucop Dev Africa is to empower young Africans to become value first builders. You know how I'm always about value, right? Offering value what you have, and then yeah, and we are in Africa. I believe there are so many solutions that we can build as Africans to solve Africa specific problems. And last week when I went for an event and they said something about it's true that we have so many regulation uncertainties around Web3 in Africa, but then that doesn't mean that we shouldn't build. That doesn't mean we should stop building, right? So and we have so many. Africa has one of the highest population of young people in the world. That means we have the potential to create value first solutions using the Web3. And Web3 is a place whereby there's almost no limitation to entering it. Just start, find a place for yourself and just start. So that's I'm so excited. It's going to be an exciting journey for me because I'm a non-tech founder. I have zero knowledge about coding, right? So I'm leveraging on I'm throwing the path of some persons that have walked the same path um like I'm about to. So and I'm looking forward to so many persons learning a lot on this journey and being able to benefit financially and also contribute to so many projects, right? So this is going to be how this is going to run is we're going to have people like you, our highly esteemed speaker, Mr. John, subsequent sessions, bring in different people who's going to share from their wealth of knowledge and simplify this journey of transitioning into tech for us. So, Mr. John, you're going to have the floor. I believe you have your way around this stuff. So, me, I'm here to learn. I'm going to beat my mic onto question time. So, just take your time and share. So, the topic is technical writing in Web3. I believe that technical writing is one area that I've always wanted to venture in, but somehow I never got to it. I just stayed within my content marketing, product marketing. I stayed within communications and stuff, the pure non-tech area. But then I know that it's a very profitable part of transitioning into the tech side of Web3. So I look forward to hearing from you. So you can introduce yourself, Mr. John. Tell us what you do. Tell us who you are, and tell us what about blockchain alpha. Yes, I remember blockchain alpha. Tell us about blockchain alpha. Then we can start with the rest of the topic for the day. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ma. Good GM, everyone. So, I didn't prepare a slide intentionally because I want this to be as human as possible and as flexible as possible because mainly I'll be sharing my story for a reason to show that I mean I am like everyone else. So I don't want to sound like all these LinkedIn people that will say if I can do it, can do it too. But like that's the point. So yeah, I'm John. My name is John, and I'm a technical writer in Web3. I'm a developer. Okay, my main job that pays me money is technical writing. My hobby is development, and I founded Blockchain Alpha, which is a um, technical content marketing company for three companies. So that's our first company, and we have a lot of products to roll out in the future. But that's all for now. So yeah, if I were to go straight into what we want to discuss today, when uh, our host was introducing herself, she was saying she's does content marketing and comms and everything else. Before I proceed to talk about technical writing, I'll probably want to debunk a lot of stuff about it. First of all, financially, is technical writing more rewarding than content marketing or any other thing else? The My own answer is that it depends, right? You know, so if you want to come to technical writing, don't come because probably of course it pays well. That's the truth. But you can now argue if it pays more than what you do or any other thing else. So first thing first, come to technical writing if you have the passion for it. If you don't have passion for it, or it's not something that really catches your fancy, you can do content marketing and still make a lot of money in content marketing. We are all here doing what we love. So and that will lead me to explaining what technical writing is all about. And fun fact, technical writing is a type or is under a sub niche of content marketing or content writing because we have found out in developers marketing that developers don't really like when you market something to them directly, or let's say like you push and hard to them, or you do all this general inorganic stuff we do in marketing. We have discovered over time that, for example, if you check out Digital Ocean or Asura or Vercel or all those stuff, you see that the main thing they do really is to push out content, and that's how they gain revenue. So it's all about making money, but how we get to do it is what makes the difference. So technical writing, basically, it's all about writing uh, industrial content for those who are neck deep into the industry. Bringing it back to tech now. By the way, technical writing is wider than tech technical writing. There are some. I'm actually in a slack of technical writers, international technical writers, and sometimes it will amaze you that some of the job posts they post there is for people who write manuals for EV vehicle firms, civil engineering firms, and wider than what we know as technical writing. So what we know as technical writing is actually technical writing. I know that might sound confusing to a lot of people, but it's all technical writing. Now back to tech. Technical writing is all about writing um, what is not really understandable or what might not really be easily understandable to a layman, writing it for the exact target audience. Now the target audience here differs, and that is what will inform the skill you need as a technical writer also, right? So if you are writing for, let's say, firms, crypto trading firms, and they want more of market analysis, technical. And I did that around last year. I was doing technical analysis every day, reading Bitcoin, reading candles, doing Elliot's wave theory and all those stuff to analyze markets and all those stuff. It is still technical writing. On the other hand, if they are what was it called? Audience are developers, then you need to be writing code, writing developer guides, updating documentation, and everything. So that is what technical writing is all about. But before I go in, let me kind of tell my story around technical writing, how I got into technical writing. I mean, maybe that will resonate with someone. You know, I didn't start out as a technical writer. I started out as a content writer, then a content marketer. I was writing generally for fintech guys, marketing guys, and any other niche that brings money for real. I mean, but my brother then was a more active. He still trades now, I think, but he was more of a trader then. Yeah, so you know, we used to stay in the same room and he would tell me about crypto and all this stuff. I mean, I was quite unbothered because it doesn't concern me really. But there was a point I actually got a crypto client, and then I was like, oh, then if the guy asks me to write on something, let's say stable coins, I'll just go ask my brother and be like, oh, you used to talk about your crypto thing and stable coin thing. So what's a stable coin? Explain it to me. Then he will say it in my native language. And one thing about me is or once I understand something in my native language, that's it. I've cracked it. So he will explain it to me. When I get the main gist around it, I'll just research and write for the guy. And I did that for a while. Then I was like, man, I can't be disturbing this man all the time to explain stuff to me. I need to research myself. So that was when I started researching about crypto, about everything. I feel I devoured Binance Academy then like never before. And if they are giving an award for whoever reads their blog the most at that point, I feel they should have given me an award really. I'm not bragging, but I feel they should have given me because like I spent a lot of time on their blog reading everything, and that was how I got interested in the space, right? So immediately I was done reading all those stuff, I just wrote a couple of stuff as samples. Mind you, I was a writer before, so I know how things work in the writing world. I wrote a couple of things as samples. I started applying for crypto jobs, so I got quite a lot of them, full-time roles, part-time roles, pure freelance, and all that. Then it got to a point I realized that I actually did not like crypto as much as I think I did. I like that nerdy side of things, and what really pushed me to that was that there was one day I was reading the Ethereum blog. I feel like I was randomly researching and just trying to check up a few stuff. Then I was seeing the guy write some stuff, then he included the code and everything. And to be honest, I was impressed. Like, I mean, a content writer including relevant code in content to portray a message. I mean, that day I was really impressed, and I'm like, okay, let me challenge myself because I like challenging myself a lot. I mean, so I was like, oh, John, go and learn this stuff there. But Let me give you a backstory. My eldest brother was a is a developer, and around that point, he was also becoming moving from being a web developer to a blockchain developer. So I just approached him that time, and he gave me some resources. Whenever I was facing a bug, he'll be there for me to kind of fix it for me. So I mean, having him around actually helps my journey, my development journey. So that was when I started learning Solidity. And to be honest, when I was learning it, it was stuck uh, blank. Really, I was not really catching it as fast as I thought I could. But over time, and that's one thing. If you want to start learning coding, the truth is, it might not be, how will I put it? You might not really be catching it so fast. Don't feel like you are weird. Honestly, everybody was at that point. But over time, the more you familiarize with it, it will be getting easier, and you kind of wing it. So that was really my story. And when I did so this to some extent, and one thing about me is any single thing I do, I had it to my GitHub repository. Any little change I make, I push and pull it, and that helped me to also understand GitHub better. So any little thing I did back then, I'll push it to GitHub, and that helped my journey. So when I was uh, done with all that, I started applying for jobs again. And personally, I feel applying for jobs is how you get better as a technical writer. To be honest, like my first job, they were asking me if I can write developer focused tutorials. And one thing about me is I'm gonna lie. And that's the truth. I don't need to lie with my age and marital status. So I told them that I cannot write, or I haven't written any developer focused content before, but I can write it. So the guy said, "You give me a test then." I went ahead and I cooked up something, and it was lovely. And that was how I started writing technical content. And I actually grew to love it, really. I grew to love it. So I worked for that company. Later on, I moved to a bigger company. Later on, I moved to a bigger company. Later on, I moved to a bigger company. And along the line, I was improving myself, learning Solidity, getting better at it. Currently, now I'm learning Viper. Last month, I learned how to use Foundry for testing, for unit testing. This month, I want to learn Viper and probably do a bit of Astro. There was time I was learning React, GraphQL, and Node.js. So, like, it's actually a lot, to be honest. It might affect your social life a bit. Uh, just take it that way, but it's worth it. So I mean, and I feel June this year I founded my company and in my story. So if that resonates with anyone, so from there I'll just move on to another myth I want to debunk or not debunk before I move on. Do you need to know coding before you become a technical writer, or to become a technical writer? To be honest, I'll say yes. Now, the answer is actually it depends. But to be on the safer side, I'll say yes. And why did I say yes? Mentioned something earlier about probably writing for crypto trading firms. Those ones don't need you to show any code or anything. They just need you to show how good you are with CA, how to read candle patterns and all those very technical stuff. How to, to them, that is technical content. But to most people around, writing developer focused content is technical content. So it's not an issue of should you learn it. My answer most times is always why not. I mean, so it's just good to have it under your belt. So if there is a need for it, you pull it out, and it will make you to be ahead of most people when you're competing for jobs. Most time when I'm actually applying for technical jobs and all that, I just tell them that okay, I'll send them my GitHub repo, like check out my repo, check out the languages I can write, projects I've built, and all that. And that most times that kind of gives me an edge. So learn coding if you want to come technical writing. It's not a must, but I really encourage you to make your work easier. And really, what some technical writers do is that they have some friends who can code, So when they are doing projects, they consult them and all that. That is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You can't always keep asking your friends for subject matter opinions. The best approach to it is you becoming an expert yourself. For example, if you're to write about building with Astro, right? If you have built something with Astro before, you will write with more authority and conviction than, let's say, you're asking someone, okay, what do I write about it and all that. So it's better you learn coding if you're coming into technical writing. And yeah, so how do you get to become a technical writer? Unlike what most people think, it's not all about coding, and that is where I get to humble engineers. You know, content writing, like I always say, requires you to have two brains, one for um, grammar, then the other one for engineering or coding. You see, like to excel at technical writing, you need to be very good at grammar. All those topics most people avoided in secondary school or GNS in uni or EGL in uni, specifically grammatical name and functions. You have to go back and learn them. Parts of speech, you have to go back and learn them. Figures of speech, you have to go back and learn them. Like learn them in depth. Learn when to use article he. Learn when not to use article han. Learn intricacies as deeply as someone in English would. That will help your work, and you won't rely on Grammarly to do stuff for you. Grammarly should only be for overall checking. Let's say you miss out anything, it should not be the tool that will be teaching you what to do as a writer. No, because most times some Grammarly suggestions are always out of place, and if you don't know better, you will always accept all the Grammarly suggestions. So like I mentioned, go learn grammar. It will help. Then go learn coding. In if you're coming to blockchain, I would have expected you to probably know JavaScript, but I'm assuming, let's say you are a writer before, you wouldn't know JavaScript. In that case, I would recommend you still take JavaScript, it helps. But if you feel you can't, just come straight to Solidity. But there are some languages you shouldn't try in your first engineering journey, right? Languages like Rust. Although we are brilliant differently anyway, but I wouldn't really suggest someone new to engineering to pick up Rust. It's it's not hard to understand, but for someone who is just coming in and all that, it might be quite overwhelming. So pick up Solidity and give it time, or you can pick up Cairo if you like StackNet. You can basically pick up anything. But for me, I chose Solidity, and now I'm also learning Viper along with it. So that helps. And what else did I want to share? So basically, what are the things you'll be doing as a technical writer? Basically, it's all around documentation, technical tutorials, technical guides, communications. This is where the skills of content marketing and content writing comes in. Apart from documentation and guides, the rest of majority of the things we do as technical writers are what we used to do as content marketers. Communication, PR, all those stuff. They are very good. And some of the tools you need in documentation are probably with Gitbook. Gitbook is very good. I've used it before and it's good. You can also try out Docusaurus. I heard it's good. Then I would recommend you check out Mitlify. Mitlify is probably better for if you want to write about API documentation, because it has this feature that you can test API right in the doc. So Mitlify is good for that. And on grammar, that I mentioned earlier, one book I recommend you read is The Elements of Style. That book is very, 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 very good. Very, 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 very good. So Yeah, and let me move to the last part of what I want to share tonight, which is what's it called? Now, how do you get jobs as a technical writer? First of all, I feel one thing I want to say before I talk about that is that your main aim of being in tech should not be to the hallmark of it, rather, should not be to get a job, right? It's to build a solution to provide something that will solve a problem for people. You know, someone built Mintlify. Mintlify is a documentation software that people use. Someone built Jitbook. Someone built all those stuff. I read about them. They are engineers and technical writers. So the problems they were facing as technical writers were what they created solutions to meet. So as you are doing jobs and all that, have this mindset of noticing around what are the problems that probably engineers are facing, what are problems that technical are facing, what are problems that probably engineers are facing in terms of sales and anything, and think of solutions, software to build to solve that. So having said that, if you want to get jobs in technical writing, like I said, be very good. You can't negotiate being good. You just have to be good. So go learn your onion, sharpen your writing skills, sharpen your um, technical skills. Both will really help. Then, number one, start sharing what you know. The problem most people face when they want to probably build their presence on media or even technical writing is they want to sound like an expert, right? The deliverance that will come to you as someone building in tech is to just share what you know, right? Don't try to sound like an expert. For example, if you're just learning to this and want to write something, it might be like, if you write it won't people who have been writing this language for years come and be like, you made a mistake here, you made an error here, this is not accurate, stuff like that. Just share what you know, right? That way you won't put pressure on yourself. So start sharing. My job at Alchemy, really, I was sharing something, then someone from Alchemy team read it, and I started working for them. So like, start sharing what you know on the internet, publish. If you want to write technical articles for people, one of the ways they will believe you actually know your onions is to write it for yourself. And in the ones you write for yourself, it will show what you write for them. And this is what I mean. Let's say you know how to analyze headlines and they check probably your PCs and they see that, okay, your headlines are actually optimized. Do you know SEO? A way to show that you know SEO is in your works, right? So you show those stuff in your works. Do you know how to do storytelling? A way to do that is to show them how you do it in your works. You know, and that makes applying for jobs easier. To start publishing stuff as technical writer, you can publish on Ashnode, Medium, Dev.to, or probably Arcanum. Yeah, those four platforms. Basically, I use Ashnode, and even my company uses Ashnode. So maybe you can try to use Ashnode. And the beautiful thing is you can cross post, right? Just post on one, then use the real canonical tag. I believe I'm talking to content marketers, so you should know what I'm talking about. So use the real canonical tag and post on multiple platforms. So apart from posting on the internet, share what you are posting. Share on LinkedIn, share on Twitter. Yeah, someone might just read it and be impressed and be like, okay, wow, this is good. One of my friends got a job recently with a different protocol, and I feel that was what he did. He just wrote something around liquidity provision and all that. Then someone from that team saw that, oh, this guy is actually brilliant, and they hired him, and he was working, and he's now working for them, and he's collecting his pay. I mean, yeah, cool. So the second thing, cold mailing. Yeah, let's say you come across a different protocol and you see that they need technical writing, you can just check their blog. If their blog is probably written 2 years ago or 1 year ago or January this year, you can message them and be like, okay, it appears there is something with your content production. You can come in. It appears everyone is busy, stuff like that. Then you can come in to help them out and all that. So send a cold mail. Nobody will crucify you for sending a cold mail. Really, it's a yes or no thing. If they want to take you in, they'll say yes. If not, no, and it's a win-win. So send cold mails. Another stuff is uh, DM, social media DM. You know, if probably you come across any protocol, or probably the founder or anyone working in any team and you like the team, you can just message them and be like, okay, I like what you're doing. I would like to work with you as technical writer. These are my samples, something like that. Then if they want you, sometimes I've met people like that and they will tell me that, oh, dude, we don't need your service now, but like in the future we'll need it. So like, let's keep in touch. And yeah, so that works. Use social media. Yes, I used to use Upwork too. If you like to use Upwork, is a good platform to optimize your profile, optimize your bio, send good proposals, and you are likely to, you know, get some jobs. I feel that's all I have to share for now. Let's say they are more specific because technical writing is wide. I cannot cover it within a night. So if there are more specific questions that people probably want me to address or something, I feel yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. John. That was like a super interesting session. I was paying attention, listening, and I'm like, well, okay, okay. Oh, we have some persons join us on YouTube. Let me see if you guys have a question. Just kindly drop it. Like you said, it's a very broad subject, right? Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think there's this resource, this Google resource? What do you think about it?
For technical writing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I used it to. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I used it to.
yeah. Because when you're mentioning the whole, you have to learn how to really write. I mean, the grammatical part. I remember when I
Yeah.
was scanning through the course and I saw those parts where they were trying to like teach you how to, grammar and all of that. Those basic English structure.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you so much. So if anyone has a question, I'm trying to go through the chat here. So basically, right, we're dealing with mostly newbies. Like you mentioned, most of them are actually newbies. I don't think I've encountered anyone who is already in like the tech, is already in the
Oh,
tech, in the Web 2, in normal web development, not talk of transitioning to Web 3. So it's basically people like me, non-tech, trying to transition. So yeah, but you mentioned that the programming language to start would be you mentioned JavaScript, right?
yes,
Uh,
yes.
and then what's the other language you mentioned?
JavaScript, there's Solidity for those who want to come
Solidity.
to Ethereum.
Okay, yeah, Ethereum. Yeah. So okay, 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 okay. So did you have any specific resource for someone who wants to like start learning this programming language? Let's say the person want like self learn, like the
Oh,
person.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And I feel this was one of the issues I actually had while starting out then. Like there were a lot of resources and some of them were half baked, some were too high, some were, but I feel the guy I would recommend to anyone who wants to get started in Web3 development is Smart Contract Programmer on YouTube. I mean that guy is
Awesome.
so good. So good.
Awesome.
His name is Smart Contract Programmer on YouTube. I mean I should attribute whatever I know in solidity to that guy. Like it made me understand the gray areas. It made me anybody wants to learn to just go to smart contract programmer. I mean, the guy is so good, and it doesn't go too high. That's one thing I love about it. It doesn't go too high. It
Yeah.
takes people as where they are. Yeah. So smart contract programmer on YouTube is the best. resource for
Okay.
learning development.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm looking at it now. Looking at the channel now. Awesome. Thank you
He has
so
a
much.
playlist for Solidity.
Sorry?
I was saying that the smart contract programmer guy has a playlist for Solidity.
Solidity. Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see. I can see Viper layer 2, Solidity. Okay, 2,
Yes, I'm currently
security.
doing his Viper
Okay.
uh, classes.
Awesome. 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 Thank you. Okay. 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 Yeah, you listed some things, right? Okay, don't worry. We'll just listen to it and make the notes. There's some extra other resources that you shared. Um,
For grammar, I recommended the elements of style.
Element of style. Yes.
Yeah, that book is a
Oh,
kind of the reason I love it is because it's a compression of everything anyone might have missed out in probably English in secondary school or English in uni, like the most important things compressed together. That's why I love
oh,
it.
okay. Okay. All right. So I think that's about it. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us, or words of encouragement that you
Okay,
like to
okay,
share
yeah,
with?
thank you. Thank you. I feel one thing I want to emphasize is, let's say probably for those who are watching, since you said most of them are just coming in for the very, 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 very first time. Let's say you have a client who wants you to do a technical white paper or a documentation and all that, and you're feeling overwhelmed and be like, oh, are you good enough to do all this stuff? The crack is simple. What is the client's startup or company trying to solve? Most
Okay.
likely, there must always be a similar company doing the same thing, or even similar companies doing something related to that. So you can just go to other companies' websites, check out their documentation, read it, probably read two to three or four, or two to three, really. Then pick ideas from how they did it. That will be the standard you will use to craft your own. And most likely, you will never go wrong with using that idea. And if you want to come to technical writing, the best time is now. It's
Okay.
challenging, to be honest, it's challenging. You, as a writer, you have a lot of things to do to upskill, learn SEO, learn PR, learn comms, learn a whole lot of things to level up. Now to match that up with leveling up or upskilling as a developer. So that makes technical writing more challenging. But if you can commit yourself to it, it's always worth it. And yes, it's financially rewarding, to be honest. It's financially rewarding.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
And thank you so much for having
Eh,
me here. It's a
Sorry, there's a
pleasure to
question here.
be around
There's
and
one more
share
question.
what I know. I mean, it's a pleasure. And people can follow me on Twitter, Jill Fawole. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Before we get to the whole sharing part, someone is asking the author of the book, The Element of Style.
Oh goodness, I am not really sure, but it's only one
Okay.
book that bears that title in the world.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sure. I've checked
Okay.
it.
That makes it easy. That makes it easy to find. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. John. So, Mr. John, it's like I said, is a highly esteemed speaker for, or what I say, facilitator or coach for this session. Look forward to bringing you again. Oh, you're already in the Web3 development part. Look forward
I
to
will
bringing you
always be
again.
available.
Thank you very much. So follow him on Twitter. I mean, he's will I say, is a value first guy, right? You see how he was dropping the value and how he emphasized that you have to put value first before you start thinking about the money, because money comes when you can give value. If you can't give value, the money will not come. So follow him on Twitter, Joe Fawole. He's also on LinkedIn, but it's not always there. He lives on Twitter.
I always
He's
tweet
on
about some more on my Twitter. I don't mind me.
Yeah, so just follow him and shadow him and I'm sure if you ask him any questions, he will answer you. Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure. So thank you so much for your time. I look forward to bring you here again for subsequent session. And this is like the beginning of amazing days in this Valley Cup Dev
Yeah.
Africa.
I love what
I
you
look
are
forward.
doing. Really.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Bye everyone. Bye everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. John. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.